Yeah, I've been pushing this the last 2 weeks in my classes, so
Nice.
should have some new people tuning in. At least a few. I've got some loyal students.
Que porra é essa?
Tá live aí, Max. Tá live.
Ah, tá ouvindo no teu telefone.
Tá live.
What's up, guys? We are here for another episode number 45. Welcome everyone. Welcome, my friend.
Brother,
What's up?
how you doing?
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Hey, let's get on the mic. And already, look, is the audio get better if you talk like on that direction? Okay. Good. Yeah. So we'll start, guys. Thank you so much for our sponsors. All right. JP, talk a little bit about the sponsors, please.
Let's do it. So, as you guys know, Brave Kimonos has been with us since the beginning. It's the best jiu-jitsu gear you're gonna find in the market. Such a good quality of material. Design is great, and the people behind it, the vision of the brand is amazing. So we love working and being part of this brave mission as well.
Yeah.
So
Like I said before, I wear Brave, my students wear Brave, and we also purchase like wholesale from Brave. If you like a jiu-jitsu owner or like a teacher, you can go on the website, create a wholesale account, buy this like a wholesale price, and sell in your school. Do you understand? That's like make it easy. You don't need to buy like a larger inventory. That has all the money stock on any stock. We can purchase like 400, 500. Has like couple gears, sell them. Rotation this money fast. That helped me a lot in the beginning of the school too.
That's true. And if you're a school owner, you can want to purchase Brave products. You want to go through the wholesale account, you can just apply and hopefully they approve your school.
Yep.
So also, if you're a regular jiu-jitsu practitioner, you can also buy Brave with discount. If you use PBJJF, you can get 10% off on your purchase.
Yes, sir.
So, also we have our sponsor. You guys probably seen so many Brazilians coming through, right? So they should use Santos Law Firm. Santos Law Firm is the best high-profile immigration law firm. They'll look to every single client case and find the best direction to go their case. And doesn't need to be from Brazil, but I bet you see a lot of Brazilians come and go.
Absolutely.
Man, they're great. I personally use them, Max
Me
too,
too.
And I have so many friends that use, and they are.
Yeah,
They always give a
we've had
great feedback.
One of our good guys couldn't get back over here, Rob.
Rob
Yeah.
work a little bit. The referee on PBJJF.
Definitely, he's definitely gonna use her. Tell him
I'm gonna call him when
to
we're
go. Hey, they help people from so many different countries.
And also shout out for Rob. He's a very nice
Shout out
guy.
for Rob, yeah,
we
he
miss
was
you here in Maryland, man.
Absolutely.
he worked with us for some of the events. So
Yeah.
also thank you Santos Law Firm for the support. Also we have Perkins Dental Care. Perkins Dental Care is a dental office service where they're gonna provide you cleaning, all kinds of dental needs you have, cleaning, implants, fixing if you break your teeth, and if you train jiu-jitsu, go and get a
Mouth guard.
custom
Mouth
mouth
guard.
guard.
Jiu-jitsu,
You can
Muay
get
Thai,
the
box,
custom
MMA.
And then you can save money by.
preventative care.
Exactly.
I know Dr. James. He's at sometimes hey, I'm gonna tell people gonna get 50%. I was like JP, don't do that. I told him, hey, charge double, and then you can give 50%.
You can put in some organization.
That's but hey, guys, Perkins Dental Care. They're in the Baltimore area. So if you guys live in the Baltimore area, you can search. Go to the Google. You can search about Perkins Dental Care, and you should go and check it out.
And for sure, if you hear about his company. Or,
At
or
PBJJF, you're gonna have a different
you go get a different
treatment. For
Yes,
sure,
sir.
for sure.
A little extra numbing.
Yeah, and Dr. James Perkins, he's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, really?
So
So
Be
he knows.
careful.
great.
he knows.
Don't
he
bite
knows.
the hand. He can choke you out.
That's a great thing about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so many walks of life.
So many, so many.
Too much
And
connection.
we love
man.
hearing the
Absolutely.
story behind before jiu-jitsu and outside of jiu-jitsu, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just wow. It's
So-
totally different. It changes your life.
It does. And
So many.
and guys, yeah, if you want to be a PBJJF, we can sponsor podcasts or the whole federation. If you want to be part of a PBJJF podcast, you want to have your business in the screen, you can go to professionaljujitsu@gmail.com and send an email. One of our team members is going to get back to you on that. And you can search and go on social media and DM us. We might be able to connect through that as well.
Yes, sir.
And all the people that works with us, they have, from the podcast, they have social media presence too. You know, if you see our social media, we have our sponsors into our social media as well. Also, guys, our podcast is monetized now. So if people are watching, they wanna have their questions answered faster. They become a member. So to become a member, you can go to the browser on your phone or on YouTube. You cannot do it from the app, but you can just do $4.99 a month. You can become a PBJJF sponsor, and so we're gonna bring one of our not sponsor. I'm sorry, member, and we're gonna bring two of the members to
times.
come to the podcast
Nice.
as well.
Awesome.
So, and if you guys want to support the podcast, become a member.
Good
Not
call.
just for that.
Definitely.
It'll be great.
Yes, sir.
And now we're putting all the clips from the podcast. We're having our team work on putting all the clips on the podcast, so on social media as well, cutting the best part.
These shorts is looking on fire.
They look great,
Yeah,
but we're gonna be canceled sometime soon.
Sometime,
For
yeah, yeah.
sure, for sure.
I was already told, like, hey, Forky, watch
It's
out.
okay. Hey,
Yeah.
you guys, you're open to. Hey, we're open to that, but
I
we're gonna
tell
be
JP,
canceled soon.
we walk on a line. Every podcast, I'm like, man, we close it. We close to the can. Yeah.
Hey, we're about to post one. Yes, it's like hold on
better
that
no,
one. Hold on
hold
that one. Hold on that one.
There's no timeouts in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So, but it might happen. So, if you guys are watching, please give us your support. This really it's 9:30. We're here. Hey, we're here 4 times a week.
Yeah.
If you want to give extra support and motivate us even more, so become a member.
Yes, sir.
And be part of the our journey. And one day we're gonna be at
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan podcast, or we're gonna bring him here.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
One or other, we'll see.
man.
Hey,
That'd be nice.
Joe, if you know Joe Rogan, tell him, man, you should bring the PBJJF team to your podcast.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, we need to make so much noise that it's gonna be hard to not know,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
We're gonna
You're
make
hear us.
we're gonna make
gonna
so
hear
much
us.
noise in the
Yeah.
East Coast
Yeah.
that
Oh,
people have to notice.
Yep.
They'll
Yeah, they have
unless
to. They
they're
have to. Hey, with how much branching out and how big the whole PDJJ is getting with all the competitions, there's more people signing up. Every time I go, I see more and more people. You know what I mean? It's such a bigger presence. It's really awesome.
Yeah, if you
So
look
we're
at the
gonna
social
get
media, I was just looking at Reddit the other day, and I was looking at some of the questions, and they were talking about what is this PBJJF and question, and what opposed to the IBJJF, and then if you look back, there wasn't a lot of information, and then as you look down, more and more people are like, oh, I was just there. It's, fantastic. It's a premier organization. It's not, the same thing. It's totally different. It's focused in the Mid-Atlantic region and whatnot. So, it's starting to pick up, and I've noticed that. Like, honestly, I didn't even know about the podcast until one of your marketing people came by and dropped some things off and did that.
Probably Josie.
Josie, that's who
Josie.
it. And did a quick promo, and I was like, oh, I knew about the tournaments, but I didn't know, and I started doing my own research and saw Monroe's and, and Sullivan's and a few others, Professor. And
all right, good job, Jose.
And so many people come and tell us about the podcast. Like people come and like, man, I was watching till like 2 a.m. the podcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got sucked in. I started scrolling through.
It's good to know like the story behind, like the daily we see on
There's
the
so many
right?
good stories too. Monroe's was fascinating. I didn't know. I know Monroe, and I got hooked up with Monroe through the owners of my gym, right? And they all train together. And like I was telling you, I saw Monroe the other day at a little party that Fell had thrown, and a lot of different people there, but 4 different schools or something there. And it's the community, and it's great. And I didn't even know that about Monroe, and it was something that we got to talk about. We had a lot in common from kind of like totally different worlds, but same kind of like avenues, looking for something, to fill that void. And mine was more pro wrestling and whatnot. But still, it was cool, and it was really kind of like I don't know if humanizing is the word, but it kind of like I related to it, more. And it's cool to see different people's stories like that with jiu-jitsu, and we're all connected through jiu-jitsu, and it's even smaller when you go back to looking at the lineage and where you come from and where he comes from and how it's all connected, through one source. And it's really
special
cool.
Here in Maryland. It looks like most of the journey connect at one point, because like there's not much black belts in the area back in the day,
Right.
and like most of the school owners and black belts now train together back in the day,
That's how fascinating.
I remember when I came, I was talking to Monroe. You probably saw on the podcast when Monroe was running at Baltimore BJJ. Kai, and Lance, they trained there. I don't really remember that much because I was training more with Monroe Hall. Monroe. I never say, because I learned from a brother, Harley. Harley always
Brazilian
call
friend.
him Monroe. I'm learning. It took me 5 years to learn one of my students' name. I would tell her Cindy, hey Cindy, but her name is Cindy. Cindy. It took me 5 years to
but
shout out to Cindy.
And she never told you that.
No, I know.
She's like, okay, whatever.
Cindy, hey Cindy. It took me so.
Name is
it's close. Names are kind of like hard. But
it's hard for Brazilians.
Hey, how was for you guys starting jiu-jitsu?
Well, I mean, I was really lucky. I had come from like a wrestling kind of background, and that kind of thing ended, and I was really looking for something, and I wound up in 2006 going to Lloyd Irvin's in Capitol Heights, and I never put the gi on. I did some little training there for a brief time. It was upstairs. It was called Thai Jitsu. It really wasn't what I was doing now, right? I really didn't understand, and I left there, and the commute was bad. It wasn't my time to train, and I really was looking for something, and it didn't fill the void. Anyways, cut to 2010. This guy Shane Mount, I knew him through like Facebook or something. We had mutual friends that he went to school with, and I was tight with her, and he had a feed or something, and I had said something on there, and he was like, I'm going to start a school, it's Armin and youth school, Hobson, and we're going to do this. And I was like, with the gi, I was excited. I only watched the UFC, and that's the only time I was really ever around any gi besides the picture I saw of Lloyd. But I've never trained in it or been around any like real martial arts like that. Only wrestling. And So I was excited, and I was like, "Oh, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu," and he's like, "No, it's not Gracie Jiu-Jitsu," because I thought all Jiu-Jitsu was
everything's
Gracie.
Gracie,
Yeah, that's all I knew.
It was the marketing.
That's all I knew. Everything you saw was Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
And thanks,
Yeah.
Thanks they did the
Thanks
marketing
for-
back
Well,
in the
no,
day.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's like he let out a secret.
Yeah.
Yeah, they paved the world. You know,
They did.
for us,
They did. Yeah, especially when it comes to like you said, marketing and everywhere else. So I was excited. I started training with him. He's a purple belt under Hobson. And there were 6 of us that was training, and then he wanted to pack up and try somewhere else in Vegas. So after 6 months, he had hooked us up with Kai, and fortunately he did. He took all of us in. He honored Shane's contract. I think all of us were paying like Shane $100 a month or something. So Kai took that and he was like, "I'll honor that. Come join us." And I thought I knew a little something when I started training with Shane for the 6 months. And when I went to Conquest, it was like eye opening. Like that was like
That's how I went
Junior,
Conquest.
Conquest in Crofton, like their original location, their that they didn't share. That was the first standout location, I believe, in Crofton. It was a small place, but I got my ass handed to me. I mean,
How old you were at the time?
I was older. I was in mid 30s. So like I said, I had been looking for something for a long time and just drifting. And when I went there, it was eye opening. It was like this is jiu-jitsu. Like this is not grappling.
Now
This
I
is not
discover
wrestling.
what.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like a little dude, Brian Klauser. I probably outweighed him by a good 80 pounds. Unassuming kid, it didn't look like anything, like a little nerdy guy. Dude, he hit me with a scissor sweep and then an arm bar and then a feint scissor sweep and a triangle, repeatedly, like in 5 minutes. I don't know how many times he caught me, and I was just like, so I go to the next guy, and it was Jay, who opened up 5th Gen, and same thing, just like scissor sweep, triangle, like scissor sweep, arm bar, mount, like just everything, killing me, and I knew right then and there, like, I need to train here. Like, these guys are just phenomenal.
I need to learn it.
Yes, and they were white belts. They weren't even higher belts. They were literally white belts, and just
what
like
year
me.
was that?
Oh, that was 2011. That was 2011, yeah. That's when I started with them, and I never left. Like, I'm so lucky to be able to train with a multi-world champion, with Professor Vicente Jr. day in and day out, and all the people that, brought me in, Lance, Nate, Kai, Gil, Kai's father. Like, all of these guys are my mentors, and they were my forefathers that kind of led the way for me and gave me the opportunities to teach. Like, I'm teaching Gil's former classes, so it's all been handed down to me, and, and I worked hard to get there, but, the family that they've created from just this small little place, this like 20 by 10 room, to what they have now, multiple facilities and, world champions.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great to be a part of
The
that.
kids
I'm
they
honored.
building that is like dangerous.
That next generation is
Yeah.
unreal. Like, they are savages. I don't know how
I
many different
follow up
championships
like
they have.
on the tournaments. I'm always there watching. Like, oh my god, man, the level this kid is getting now is crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, he has one. I forget a Haid. No, it's not Haid. I forget his name, but he like normal kid 2 years ago. Now he's super tall, but he's still like 14. He's huge. Elijah.
Yeah. Oh.
Man, he's super tall. He do triangles from everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
I think this was his last year as a kid. Like, he's juvenile now.
Like juvenile next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
And,
16,
and he got his win.
Yeah.
And, he's close to that age.
That's
16.
awesome.
And I think he does homeschool just to train.
Oh, dude.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Homeschool.
I don't know
Something
about
like that,
personally,
yeah.
but
Somebody told me.
he's always on the mats, and that kid is always training
He's
hard.
Vicente Junior's son too is good.
Oh, Gabe.
Gabe.
They get
Gabriel,
like a blue belt, man.
Yeah,
When I roll with Gabriel, it's like he's just doing cartwheels.
Gabriel
it's
is,
like fighting the Black Panther. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
I knew
What are you
that-
doing?
I roll with I never roll with Elijah, but I roll with Gabriel on it. You guys promote.
Yeah,
I get
remember you
that. I
there,
get
yeah.
that to my friend Patrick Rivera. No, he got his black
Yep.
belt. I'm
Yep.
there, and I did a roll with Gabriel. Man, if you don't
Don't
do like you gotta boom, he catch you up, man. It's
he's
fun. It's
phenomenal.
good.
Yeah. And he doesn't even look like he's like 12 years old, 13
Yeah,
years.
he's very
He's
young.
just a young kid, and he's just
I think when
That
Elijah
next generation
started,
is
he was at my
unbelievable.
shoulders, and now
No,
he's up
I
on-
remember like a year ago, man. He like you look at him, he's like he's a kid, normal kid. No, one these days like on PBJJF PNMs, I walk around and like,
He's above everybody.
who are Professor Max? Look around.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, you grow so much.
Your size, almost
like
your
almost
height.
my size, yeah. You know,
He's tall.
yeah.
Good kid.
He's a good kid, yeah.
Great kid.
Very humble, like
Yeah, he helps with the kids'
Yeah.
class too. He loves the
All our kids. That's the
Yeah.
great thing about Professor VJ's leadership is all those kids are humble and they help each other and they understand teamwork.
That's cool.
And that's what he's been building, and you can see it. Like, it's just not one or two. I mean, there's multiple kids that are winning champions. I mean, they came back from Brazil with multiple championships
on the Brazilian nationals.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
so it's great to see that. And again, he's built a great kids team, and team in general. But those kids, that next generation.
I really like his parents too. Elijah parents always in the tournament, stop,
Very
talk
supportive.
to us. Yeah, very
Super
supportive.
supportive.
I like.
you see that with
but like
all the
support, but
kids.
not crazy. Like,
They
but
notice
Not
he
it.
lost.
controlling,
Like,
yeah.
that's fine. Let's
but-
go do again. But I like it that way. The support,
I see that with pretty much all the kids, the parents of the kids on the team. They all are very supportive, and they let VJ do his thing, and that's it. They he leads the kids, and
It works.
and it absolutely does.
absolutely
And again, like there's a good focus on it's all about the kids and pushing the team together, and
That's cool.
it's great.
And each
That's
kid
the way
sets
to
up the energy for the next. You know what I mean? Like they all watch each other compete. So when this one wins, the next one's like, "Oh, I'm going to get it." You know what I mean? So it's just like a
And they
The
help each
energy,
other too.
the
right?
energy on the
Like-
tournament is nice too by the kids.
I love it.
I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
My
think
heart races just watching them. It's like I'm on the side, like, oh.
And
Like,
Mikey
it's
Mel,
great.
Mikey Mel's a big
Yeah,
part of
Mikey
that
Mel,
too.
yeah, absolutely.
He's pushing those kids as well.
A lot.
There's so many great actually instructors all around both locations, and Mikey Mel's another one that he's there. He was down there in Pan Am's coaching. He's the one who was coaching Gabe, which is I saw Professor's post. Actually, I think I saw it today, and he was mentioning how he was there from Mikey growing up and coaching him at all those big tournaments, and how he was smiling to see Mikey there for his son doing the same thing, and it was great to see. It's kind of
That's
touching. It kind of gives me cold chills, but again, that's the great thing about community and jiu-jitsu, having these kids grow up in this kind of community and helping each other and passing along and so forth, and that's how it lasts. That's how legacy lasts.
That's the way
passed
to go.
on.
Yeah, and it's so much like a family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it
Once you're
speaks
in, you're
volumes
in.
for the jiu-jitsu too, and not just how we are a family, but the jiu-jitsu. Because you can be a family all you want, you can be nice to each other and love each other and all that, but if you're not having results on the mats, you know what I mean. But and again, VJ was the first one to tell you it's not about the wins; it's more about the camaraderie. But the result is that he's building such a great team, and they train so hard that you see the results.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that-
very
VJ
proud of him.
teaching already when you start training.
What's that?
VJ teaching he already when we
Yeah.
start training.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
you
he
get
was-
like white to black belt
Yeah.
on the VJ.
Yep,
That's
absolutely.
nice.
Yeah, I
That's
was
nice.
with RMNU for 6 months, but I was still a white belt, and I didn't even do any
No,
tournaments.
yeah,
in
like
that.
all your belts
Yeah,
promoted.
all my belts 100%.
That's cool, man. That's
under
cool. Yeah.
Professor VJ, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never gone anywhere. I'm one of the Crofton originals, and I'm not going anywhere. Eventually I would like to have my own school, but it'll be through VJ and through Conquest, some kind of connection through there.
I like
what
it.
mean? And we'll just keep pushing that.
Yeah,
whole-
that's grow. More jiu-jitsu, more we
absolutely.
grow.
Yeah.
And like,
Absolutely.
man, why you go outside? Get
Yeah.
a nice support. Lance know business a lot.
Yeah.
For
Oh,
real,
no,
Lance helping me.
Lance
Helping me a lot
Yeah.
on marketing, everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like
That's a
he
great
don't
thing.
sponsor me to talk about, but the Academy Kings do it. they do a really good job on marketing and everything.
They do. They really do.
Yeah.
Keeping clients in.
They do.
Yeah.
They know their stuff, and that's the great thing about how our ownership and how our team is run. You have VJ heading all the BJJ programs, and Nate is pretty much running the whole show, and then you have Kai focused on certain things, which is like the programs themselves, and then you have Lance working marketing, and they all have their special things, and that's what makes it run. And then they put the faith in people like me and Matt and Mikey, all the instructors.
Who's loving teaching and being a Matt.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just privileged to be able to make a living, teaching and doing what we love, and doing it all the time, and having the faith in us to, because they were all teaching the classes in the beginning, all of them, all four of them, all the time, and I, firsthand running a business in a school, like
now I teach like 5 classes sometimes back to back.
Well, it takes a lot, to run a business and to make it successful as they have, and fortunately they've trusted a handful of us to keep passing that technique on, and all taking over all the classes, and just everything that I teach is from them. I've learned 100% from them, so I've taken everything from each one that I've learned on, and kind of like put my own thing together, but it's all through them. So,
I like,
that's
man.
great. And people already commenting here.
Yeah.
So guys, you're watching, don't forget to share. I think man, if you probably have a jiu-jitsu friend that should be watching this podcast.
If you don't, you need to get one.
If you don't have a friend, something is wrong.
all my friends are jiu-jitsu.
My family is from jiu-jitsu.
My family's jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I don't have anybody else outside of jiu-jitsu.
Or the friends you don't have that, or the friends you do have that don't do jiu-jitsu. They're like, what are you doing, man? You're beat up every day.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's like, because I love it.
Yeah.
That's
No,
right.
they don't
No, most
understand.
my friendship cycle is jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
It's it's
exactly.
hard.
It
It's hard
is.
to do all the thing.
When you
Yeah.
spend your whole life, or not your whole life, but
The majority.
For me, it's like whole life.
Well, lifetime, yeah. But every day, day in and day out, you're doing what you love, and you're surrounded by those people. Those become, your friends and your family, and you're invested in them, and you have more in common with them, and you celebrate. Like we'll get together and watch UFCs, and have cookouts, and everybody that's there practices jiu-jitsu, and most of their wives practice jiu-jitsu. Honestly, we have a whole bunch of husband and wives that train together, or not necessarily train at the same classes, but they both train. You know what I mean? They'll train opposite times and watch the kids.
Sometimes it's good to don't train in the same class.
Yeah, well,
or coach your wife. Hey, when the now my wife is a blue belt, is a little bit different stuff. But on the beginning, one day, I just show her she roll, boom, the guy stand up on her, like guard tried to open her guard, and I show her like, if they stand up and you miss the grips, grab the both ankle, foot on the hip, and push. I show her. Now, 2 minutes later, switch the partners, she get with another part. The guy stand up, I'm like, all right, grab I just call to her. I don't yell at her, go grab the leg, go, and she start to do like this. I'm like, no, not that way. She stopped training, leave it. I don't want to train anymore. You yelled at me, blah blah blah. Leave them. I'm like,
that's why you don't.
like, please put your. And I'm laughing. I'm like, try hold on. Like, hey, please put your gear on. Respect me. In the home we talk. Like over here, I'm a black belt. Please respect me.
You know where we are right now.
Yeah. She put the gear, understand, but like.
This.
No, she's mad at me like awake. You yelled at me. Okay, sorry. I'm not gonna coach you anymore. Okay.
You go to the 6 o'clock class. I'll go to 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Professor Vicente is watching, guys. He said.
It's a shout out to Vicente.
And he couldn't do without you guys.
Yeah.
So before jiu-jitsu, how was your journey before jiu-jitsu? How
It was
leading up to jiu-jitsu?
very
Just
chaotic.
survive. No, just kidding.
It was very chaotic. I mean, my first sport was boxing. My father and his uncles were all boxers. They come from Chile, and they were all boxers. So boxing was, my main sport in the beginning. But I because it was kind of pushed on me, and I did like it, but I just didn't feel it was for me. I gravitated to wrestling, and I didn't know anything about jiu-jitsu or anything at that time. And I just always liked wrestling. I always saw myself as a wrestler, and I was always looking for that, and I had a rough childhood here and there, so I was really rebellious, and being a little darker than everybody else in my skin and having the name that I do, I was picked on a lot, and I fought back a lot, got into a lot of trouble, and kind of was really like just a ball of energy and anger, and just didn't have any focus. And that kind of went on for a long time, and I'm ashamed to say this, but I mean, I tried to deal with it in different ways, and I was always lacking something, and I just really didn't know. I tried to fill it with music. I did music for a while, played the drums. My brother and I tried to have a band. We made a demo and played some BS gigs and whatnot, and that kind of fell through. But we still kept playing, and then jiu-jitsu came along. And like I said, like for a long time, I floated. I had 2 failed marriages, I just didn't know where I needed to be. And once I kind of got into that jiu-jitsu mindset, and everything changed. And I know it's cliche to say jiu-jitsu changed my life, but it kind of did. You know what I mean? I dropped doing sleep studies so I could do jiu-jitsu. Like I dropped other jobs so I could do jiu-jitsu. And then finally, the opportunity came where I started to get classes, right? And that built more. So I started to push other work away. And at one point, and I sacrificed a lot, I mean, I wasn't making any money. Like, jiu-jitsu, especially in the beginning.
Especially in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, first it was volunteer.
Sometimes you pay to work.
Right, yeah. No, at first it was volunteer, you know what I mean? And then eventually I started, as a purple belt, starting to get a little bit of money doing it. And it just kind of built from there. I started doing privates and just building upon that. And at one point, right before COVID, it was, everything was great. Like I was starting to really like put everything together and like, all right, this is going to be my full-time career. And COVID happened and things kind of fell apart. And when we came back, luckily I had started doing a lot of privates with people. People wanted to do privates because gyms weren't open and everything. And that kind of kept me afloat. And then after COVID, like everything started getting back to normal. And, ever since, I've been fortunate to make a living just teaching.
Cool, man. Congrats.
I teach 6 days a week for Conquest, and then privates on Sunday. So I'm fortunate enough to do jiu-jitsu literally every day.
That's true. Living the dream.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm very happy and very lucky. And again, it comes from hard work and a lot of sacrifice. Like it's not like it was easy. And, I made a lot of sacrifices. Lost a lot of stuff, to get to where I was. But I'm thankful that when the door presented itself, and I went ahead and knocked on it, and they opened up and let me in.
You're ready, When the opportunity is there, you're ready.
I'm really hope to see one day you open up your place, and grow jiu-jitsu, like I think it's just gonna help the community. More people are able to
more
open their
jiu-jitsu,
place, more schools, more people get to know about jiu-jitsu.
The world's big. There's plenty of room for all of us.
There's
and jiu-jitsu is that little.
Yeah.
Hey, how many people in Maryland? Millions, right? How many jiu-jitsu schools? We touch 0.0001% of the community.
Yeah.
There's still so many people to be
and jiu-jitsu
touched by
every
jiu-jitsu.
day touch different people, grow a little bit. People talk more about, now like Elon Musk doing jiu-jitsu, man. Too much, that's
And you're talking
about, and more people know about it, and that's better. Helps everything. This helps.
Whether you like him or not, and he's got his following, and that turns
too much follow. Everybody's like go for like mainstream. Sometimes whatever. Yes, Penn not talk about jiu-jitsu, and maybe they talk now. Zuckerberg
Yep.
It's going to be a bunch of nerds.
That's good. My gene's open for you guys. All nerds can come to Culture of Jiu-Jitsu.
All my students are nerds. They're very smart people. I was like, sometimes I'm too dumb close to the, they're too smart. A PhD and stuff.
But the jiu-jitsu one is the sport, man. Man, you can be a doctor.
Yeah.
Next, you can go to the gym and train literally like real. Train, do your technique, roll, and next day you ready to work. and like
Yeah.
health. You know
can
what I mean?
train hard
You can
and
train
still,
hard and still do anything.
That's the great thing about jiu-jitsu is whatever you want to get out of it, you will get out of it. You know, you just have to put into it. You know, and that's like I said, all walks of life can do it. You know, everybody can do it. You know, from the very elderly to the very young, and it's all about what you want to get out of it. And again, you know, you want to be a competitor. Well, you can be a competitor. You know, at any age. You know, you want to learn self-defense. You want to feel more confident.
Okay.
You know, you can get that out of it. You just want to place to blow off steam, you know, and you had a bad day and, you know, you want to get on the mats and get out that frustration and aggression. It's there, you know. That's a great thing about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is whatever you want to get out of it, you're going to get out of it. You just have to be there, show up and put the
Be
time in.
constant.
Yeah.
There's so
Look,
many.
look at you. You start doing jiu-jitsu a white belt like on the mid-30s.
Yep.
Now you live by
Now it's
jiu-jitsu, full-time
yep,
job,
it's my
jiu-jitsu.
job, yeah.
You know,
So very
like,
lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all lucky.
We
And
all-
we're glad we're sharing the same passion, right?
Yeah.
I think sometimes people are like, hey, sometimes I think we used to be like, oh, you're from this school. I know.
No, like the
Man,
politics.
it's
The
just-
politics.
We love the same. Hey,
Yeah.
we love the same
Absolutely.
sport. We should talk
I love
more.
the
About,
same triangle.
yeah, man, I love soccer. You love
Yeah.
soccer. Let's talk about
Uh-huh.
soccer, man. Let's be happy about it.
And-
That's like that's
Yeah.
kind of the.
It's great, but like I've had a jiu-jitsu T-shirt on before, walking down the boardwalk, and then you just hear somebody, and then you turn around,
Oos.
you know what I mean? And you're like, you,
It's
hey.
It's such
Yeah, you don't even know, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's
That's
like,
it becomes closer
absolutely,
already.
it brings you together. You know
It
what I mean?
does.
It's awesome.
It's a community. Like only who is inside their
Right,
community
right, right.
knows.
And then
you know?
sometimes you say "os" when you see them wearing a jiu-jitsu shirt, and then if they don't turn around, you're like, hey.
You just bought
You
that.
just bought that shirt. You don't know nothing about nothing.
That's
you know?
No, it's
Yeah.
great to see it. So we have people comment here. Ray, shout out to Ray.
Hey.
Ray's
Shout out
one of
Ray.
our members. He
Yeah,
used to
Ray.
train with you guys, and he's training at
I was
Ogogi
with
now.
him
Yeah.
this weekend, or last
That's
Ray.
awesome,
Yeah,
man.
last
He's
weekend.
he's
a
always
trip,
Yeah,
he's
it's
training
fun.
hard,
He
pushing.
always
You
tries
know.
to show me new moves on a porch. I'm like, bro, you know what I mean? You know we're on a porch right now. I'm not gonna sweep you hard. I'm just gonna show you this real quick. I'm like, here we go. You know what I mean? All the time. I'm like, all right, I'll put my drink down. He's moving couches. It's great.
Shout out to Ray. Shout out to Ray.
Shout out
We
Ray.
just trained today, actually,
Yeah,
earlier
That's good that
today.
he's training.
He's,
I haven't seen
uh,
Ray in a while.
No, he's
Yeah, he used to
such
do
a
my
good.
classes when he was
Oh, Rome.
That's
nice
awesome.
guy.
Ron's here. Ron's another member. Shout out
Rome
to
is the
Ron.
guy who like,
He drove.
well, like,
He saw Max truck like.
I get jiu-jitsu now, like, the school name on the back of the truck. And he like, man, take his Max. And he's like, baby. But that's on the first day I have the sticker.
Oh, right. So you're like,
I forgot, you know. I'm like, man, what this guy? I don't do anything
I think
wrong,
I'm
man.
wrong. I use
I'm
my
like,
blinker.
yeah, I'm on my line, on the limit, don't cut nobody. What happened? And he got on my side, like, yeah, what's the jiu-jitsu? Like, oh, okay, cool.
And he texted me, JP. I just saw Max. Tell him that was me.
That was me.
It's funny.
No, that's cool. He
Max
said
is not the one you
I-
want to see step out of a car. For sure.
I wave to people in the highway when I see a BJJ sticker. No, when you see it attracts you, right?
You. Yeah. Like, is that a rival school?
It's almost Freemason, right? You see
Yeah, like
it?
Freemason.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
It brings us together.
It's great. It really does.
What about you? Why did you start training Ed?
My story is not as fucking as good as yours. God, man. Mine was I was just in two bad marriages, right? I was into wrestling in middle school.
It starts on the same way.
Yeah, that's why we connected. As I started with Genaro, you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, he was in my fundamentals class.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, and so I wrestled through middle school, and then I had a daughter when I was 15. I got it out the way, right? But
Oh, man,
15?
yeah.
15,
Tell us more about that story.
On the first try.
so when I was 12, I found my dad's Playboys, and then by the time I was 15, I was like, it's it, you know what I mean? So, but we stuck with it. Me and my daughter, best of friends, you know what I mean? It's awesome, I love it. But, so we kind of like grew up together. But, so I had a kid early, so I had to obviously get a job right away. So it's like I couldn't, wrestling and all got put to the back, and then then that happened, and then so forth. So then that marriage got done. Then I got right into another marriage, and wasn't really allowed to do. I was more held down. You know what I mean? So a pipe can only take so much pressure before it bursts, right? You know what I mean? So eventually, I was like, I got to get out of here. You know what I mean? She's, great mom, everything's good, but it wasn't for me anymore, right? So the very next day, I left. Let's say I left on a Wednesday. Thursday, my mom just so happened to live right by Conquest, right? Like almost like on the same road, half a block, half a mile, whatever. So I was like, I've always wanted to do jiu-jitsu. Always. I never could because I was kind of like, hey, you're going to sit on the couch. And I was like, oh. You know what I mean, right? So
I see.
Yeah, right. So as soon as I left, I was like, well, that's what I want to do. I was 35, you know what I mean? 34, 35. Apparently the Academy Kings were doing like a free trial thing, or like they do now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I walk in to Pasadena, and Kai's sitting there, and he's like, "Hey, man," I was like, "Hey, I'm interested in joining up." He's like, "Great, but we got this free trial." I'm like, "No." I said, "I'm joining up." You know what I mean? I don't need a trial. You know
I love these students.
You know what I mean? I'm in it. You know what I mean? And
You're committed. Like
I'm committed, right? I've always wanted to do it.
Just tell me the price.
Yeah, and
Go.
tell me the price, and it's on. You know what I mean? Just out there. Here's my card. Do what you got to do.
Let's do it.
Right, and I'm sure, like you guys have heard that 1,000. It's such a, you know what I mean? Not everybody actually makes it. You know what I mean? So he's like, all right, man. He's like, I'm telling you, we can do a trial. I'm like, nah, we don't need to. You know what I mean? I'm in it, right? He's like, okay. He handed me the gi. I came the next day to Genaro's class, and then it was on and popping from there. And then I think when I started, I could never make the fundamentals class time schedule, so I always had to go to the all levels class. So Genaro was kind of like, he knew that about my schedule, so he was kind of like fitting me in, like, okay, look, we're telling everybody, hey, this guy's new, don't kill him too much.
Yeah, because he was actually going to the day classes that we had over at the swamp.
Right,
so
right.
he would go to the day classes, and they weren't really fundamentals classes. They were
Like
all
all
levels.
Yeah.
But all levels classes are usually in the day or in the morning. They're for everybody anyways.
Right.
It's more or less the rule is if there's a jiu-jitsu class and there's a fundamentals class and you're brand new, go to the fundamentals class, no matter what. But if there's not that class available and you want to train like a 6 a.m. class or an afternoon class, you're more than welcome to go, either brand new or not. It's just, if there's a fundamentals class, that's where,
that's a smart thing to do, right?
But yeah, he was coming to the afternoon classes and
just, so I was doing it, right? So, our program, it's like, hey, man, if you want to roll, my schedule changed, so I could start doing the fundamentals class, but this is after 4 months, maybe, right? And my coach showed me, you always learn that first move and it sticks. You know what I mean? So for me, it was the Peruvian, the necktie, right? Like, that's just, it clicked with me. I loved it. So I started Peruvian everybody in the fundamentals class, right? And then he's like, hey, man. He's like, you know what I mean? You got to go downstairs. You know what I mean? You got to roll with all the monsters.
Let them beat you up a little bit.
A little bit.
Right? So I'm like, oh, man, I'm so nervous. You know what I mean? I'm, in my upper 30s going downstairs with all these savages, right? My one stripe. You know what I mean? And then, it's just not quitting, man. And then, one day turned into the next, and then it was fun, and then it was everybody's, you know what I mean? It's just, you meet new people now. And now, it's the fundamentals classes, it's cool, you meet people, but you don't know if they're going to be there. With the higher guys, you know what I mean? They're around. So it becomes, you start really, like, building relationships with the guys you're going to see tomorrow, you're going to see next week, stuff like that. So then it just stuck, man. My nickname was Forky. My nickname is Forky.
It is.
Forky. You know what I mean?
Forky?
Forky. Like Toy Story, Disney. Forky. This is how I got it.
No, Toy Story I know, but maybe a different name. The character.
The character is Forky. The one that's the spork.
It's the last Toy Story that they did, and it's the little fork they turned into a toy. And
they made it out of the trash.
But he knew he was trash, so he always went around, I'm
trash. But everybody loved him, you know what I mean? So basically it was like my jiu-jitsu was trash, but it would catch you every now and then. But everybody loves it, so we're going to go with Forky. I'm like, and now I got rash guards with Forky all over.
Nice.
DJ's like, Forky, you rolling? I'm like, all right, it's official. I'm Forky. That's what it is.
Once you get stuck with a jiu-jitsu nickname.
And Brazilian guys love nicknames.
Oh,
Brazilian coaches, it's like... It's perfect. You look somebody, but,
I think BJ
okay,
has
fork,
nicknames
boom,
for everybody.
done.
That's it. That's it. It's so much
Yeah.
easier. Like Forky, you're going with this. Yeah, and it's good. I love it, man.
Hey,
it was the
you-
best thing
peop-
that I found. You know what I mean? Like it saved me. It really
And
did.
people put nicknames on you when they like you.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like when
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like they,
I embrace
like
it.
I
You know what I mean?
when I'm
I
really
get
connect someone, I'm comfortable. Like,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
now I can make fun of each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Now I can like
And it's great, man.
It's like a term of endearment. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You know,
Yeah,
you give them a nickname.
Yeah.
A lot of times, because I see a lot of new people come and go, and the names get mixed up, and I'll give them nicknames just to remember who they are, you know, and I do that all the time, just because I have trouble remembering so many people's names, unless it's like a very unusual name or a name that you don't hear very often, and it clicks with the person. But typically, you know, if it's a very common
I have
name,
the same
give
problem.
them- I give them a
Forget
nickname,
it.
and that's their nickname until you know it's not.
Yeah, no, I try to make for me the harder ones are the new ones that I never heard. There's some like new names like, oh, I never heard of it. This is gonna be harder
It's got a lot of
because I try to connect on my brain, like all of the same people, same name in the same box. So if I see ad, all the ads,
Oh, that's
you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
This is ad. This is
you
ad.
know, like Genaro is the first one, you know.
He's a little
But
We
is
got a
that
guy
a
named-
common name, Genaro?
In not here,
Not here,
obviously, but
no.
in
Chile, in Chile?
well, no, not even in Chile, really. It's an Italian name, but it's a Spanish derivative name.
Oh, yeah.
So, and in Italy, it's supposed to have two N's. And then I was born in West Virginia, so they
make
gave
it
me
one.
Yeah, they only gave me one N.
They give me only
so,
one N.
But yeah, it's not a super common name. Besides my uncle, I think I've only met one other Genaro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then they called him Geronimo. So
My trick is like Genaro. On a class, no, you get here. Hi, how are you, man? Genaro, welcome. Blah, blah, blah. Genaro. Hey, chef inside. Genaro.
And you still forget. Like,
Yeah, and I forgot. Yeah.
what happens if you have 2 or 3 new people in that class? Then you
I
gotta
keep
say
all
all their
three.
names, all 3 of their
Genaro,
names.
Frankie, JP,
Oh.
Genaro, Frankie, JP.
That's what
And
they
do
do.
the warm up, you know.
Maybe that's a
Yeah.
mental exercise.
Like
I need
this
to
day,
practice.
most of the time works. Next day I forgot.
You forget, you're done.
Hey, another thing I want to tell the guys watching, people, if you're watching, people can't even say guys anymore, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Hey,
learning.
everybody.
Hey, guys, hey, people.
We're
I'm kidding.
canceled.
So if you guys
Or
are
like
watching the
guys
podcast,
and
hey,
women.
plug in your TV, take a picture, tag us. We're gonna repost on social
Yes.
media. And another thing I think we're gonna start telling guys, if you really support the podcast, go to our sponsors and tell them that you saw their brand on our
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
It's going to really support them to be
Yes.
like, hey.
That way they know.
Even if you
Yeah.
can't purchase a product, man, you don't need a
Right.
lawyer,
Yeah.
immigration lawyer, but man, go there and like, hey, message him. Hey, I saw your
you know.
man. The guys are putting good work. I think your business is being very well presented.
Yeah, it's not hard to leave a review, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
sure.
go to their social media and give them a feedback about the podcast and their brand being presented at the podcast. I think this is very helpful as well. Helpful.
Go to fork. I like that.
Forky.
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 Yeah,
For
you know,
key.
different stuff. That's what it is. That's what it is. I have, because I teach the kids class, so I'll have parents coming up to me like, "Oh, Coach Forky" and all that, and then sometimes they'll be like, "I think he's working with Coach Ed," and they're like, "Who? Like, what are you talking about?" Forky. Oh,
Forky,
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he's
So,
forever
But
known
you-
that for.
You like on the beginning or no? Because most
listen.
of the nicknames get stick when you don't like it.
He's one of the most laid back,
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
guys. Like you can't hate this guy, no matter what he does. Like he is just one of those guys that he's just he's a super nice guy, and he's never mean or ill will towards anybody. Now sometimes he gets a little antsy in his roles, and but. Other than that,
Just
he's a
learning.
super
That's
nice
what
guy.
I'm
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah,
he
I'm
is.
learning something, you know.
No, that's I know. You're always welcome to come to Agora. You came a couple times,
Every
yeah.
time I come there, man, it's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that place. It's
Good.
very good.
So I have one thing. I was talking about tattoos around with some students today. I don't know if I'm gonna go to a wrong direction, but hey, what is your stories in your tattoo? Like, is that cool to ask?
No, it's fine. I spent a time a year at Nameless Tattoo. They're no longer around, and I got a lot of these tattoos from them. I was trying to cut my teeth and be an artist, and I was not good enough. Straight up, I just was not good enough. They tried to help me as much as they could, and I spent like a year doing an apprenticeship, and they gave me a chance at a chair, but I just wasn't good enough, and I knew that. And again,
it's important to know that. I'm not good enough. I'll go look for something.
But within the realm that I could, I couldn't really do. Wasn't
you got
artists
in a point
are out there to
where
be able to just do stuff, right? Yeah. So I was lucky enough to get a lot of this stuff just from them, from being in the chair. A lot of it is Native American because I'm mostly Native American, but yeah, spent some time in the chair.
What is the meaning? Is any meaning on?
No, it's just a medicine man. My great grandfather is a chief, and he was a medicine man, and he was a famous medicine man, and kind of like an honoring to him, And then the Battle of Wounded Knee. There, and I've got some stuff on my back, but it's all like
nice.
Like I like this one. Boom, do it.
Yeah. What about you, Ed?
Well, I started getting tattoos young, and then I get really dark in the summertime. Like if I'm outside, I get really dark, and I did have a bunch of. It was just words. So when I took off my shirt, I kind of looked like a gang member, and that's not me at all. You know what I mean? It was just words everywhere. You know what I mean? Like Italian words. And so I was like, let me get some of these covered up. You know what I mean? And then I was like, well, everybody likes superheroes. You know what I mean? So I went with the superhero theme. So I got the whole Marvel, everybody, Iron Man, Groot. I got everybody on this one. My uncle does tattoos of Frank Hawkins. So I really lucked out. So whenever he came over to the house, he's like, hey, what are you doing?
Let me try out something new.
Let
me try out something new.
He's done almost every one, other than I got the tatami jiu-jitsu monkeys.
I see that.
Skull, right. And then that's pretty much it. Other than that, he's done everything. I did have Trust. That's Italian. Trust no one. That my mom.
What
got,
is that?
Fiducio Nessuno. But I covered this part up. So this is just Trust in Italian. My mom got really mad. Like, what do you mean Trust no one? So you don't trust me? And I'm like, all right, Mom. I'm sorry, man. We'll figure it out. So I got all that covered up. Kept this, and then I got to figure something else out now. Got a big hawk and eagle on my chest and skull. So
is there any meaning behind any for you?
Well, I like the superheroes because it's almost like a different personality for each one. You know what I mean? So it's like each one has a different personality. Meaning wise, honestly, the jiu-jitsu monkeys is probably the most meaningful. Every other one I just got to get. You know what I mean? But I actually wanted this one. You know what I mean? So
what does that represent for you?
A change of life, you know what I mean? Finding a new life, you know what I mean? And then looking at my old skull, like, this is the old you, buddy. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. So it's like I can't express enough how much Genaro, Vicente, Conquest, Jiu-Jitsu in a whole really changed my outlook on life. You know what I mean? Like how I handle pressure, how I take somebody being mad, having road rage, giving me the finger. It's like, okay, I'm going to get my ass beat in 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I do not want to.
I don't need to fight now.
I do not need to deal with you.
Nothing beneficial going to come out of doing something besides just moving on.
Or, I'm going to wind up scraping my arms and knees up and not be able to do jiu-jitsu for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So I'm like.
And maybe get in trouble, by.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, it's so cliche as to sound, but it really does make you a better person. You know what I mean? It makes you be able to handle things better and work through problems and think about when you're under pressure, in your job, that's cool, but it's not like being under Max's pressure. You know what I mean? Like,
it's heavy, it's pressure.
Come on, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, okay, I can deal with that. I can deal with Max smushing the shit out of me. I can deal with this problem I got to deal with at work. You know what I mean? No one's killing me. So let's do it. Let's get it done with, and on to the next. So that's how it really helped me out with everything. That's what this is about. So
cool.
Yeah, man.
Hey, I was actually asking something today. Are you ready to be canceled or something?
Let's try again.
You're Native American, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your family. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're
Shawnee, Osage,
So-
and Quechua.
always. I don't know if it should.
You,
get
I
the
don't
photo-
know.
Yeah.
That's just saying I got the funniest
Because of
joke.
the,
and then
no,
I'm
no,
telling it. We got to know.
think
Let me know if you guys would like to listen about
think
it.
again. You're a nice guy. You're not gonna get canceled that bad.
No, because we were talking about the football team in DC, right?
Okay.
Can I say the name? Is that
Oh, yeah,
bad?
Redskins.
Redskins,
Yeah.
right? Is who like because it's not that
So-
name anymore? Because I always
Yeah, so
when I moved here, it's like people told me that's the name of the
Right,
team,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I'd never
Associated the two.
No. But I never got to know that changed their name.
Yeah,
You know,
they-
like I moved here in
yeah.
2014. I don't know when they changed it.
Right.
So does I don't know if you can speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Does people you would get offended by that name, or you get?
No, I
or
mean-
you,
I grew up in this area, so I've always known about the Redskins, and I know the story with where the word comes from and whatnot. To me, it was never that big of a deal until they started making it a big deal, and then and my thought is if a group of people do feel that strongly about it, and then they have this to back it up, then why not just change it, and that's my feeling on it. One way or another, I really don't care. But I can see how, because of what was done to the natives, how this would affect them. And, it's been like that for years. So, and it wasn't recently that they've made a big fuss
they've been
about it.
talking about
That was a controversy for
is that new,
years
right?
and years.
That's new, right?
No, it's not
it's
that
been
new.
going
Oh, it's not
for
new?
20
No,
years.
it's been going on for a long,
Oh.
long time. It's just, I guess, and just recently,
People got woke.
well, yeah, with that whole, with the younger generation coming up and, they're not so much putting up with a lot of things anymore. And it was one of the first things that, came about real change. And the guy who owned them before, he was not a great guy from what I understand anyways. And,
Snyder. It's not Snyder, right?
Yeah,
He still owns them, don't he?
no, he sold them.
Oh.
From what I understand, anyways, dude was,
Yeah.
did a lot of shady stuff, and he needed to get rid of him anyways. But he made a ton of money, from what I understand,
Yeah,
because
he made his money off that heart. I think
he like
signed something with Hearts.
Well,
Some
he-
heart
he-
machine or something to read hearts or something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
he
I don't know.
got some kind of loan or whatever, and then bought them, and it was like whatever the deal was, he made a ton of money on the deal. So good for him. But the
I'm
name.
Ravens. I'm sorry, guys. I'm
Yeah.
from Maryland. I have to be Ravens.
We actually,
right?
Season tickets, man.
If I'm not Ravens, something's right.
Yeah, Jason Bashadi, he actually trains with us. He actually was he did my class probably less than a month ago.
Nice.
So yeah, we're connected to the Ravens.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But
I rolled with him a couple times.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
real good kid.
Yeah,
You would never
Ravens.
know.
From that
You would
night,
never
too.
know. He doesn't
Ravens should
tells you.
sponsor the PBJJF podcast, no?
Absolutely.
Come
I'll
on.
talk- you know
Why
what, I'll talk
not?
to him. I'll let him know.
Come on. Hey, let's go, guys.
I got him.
So that goes back to
Let's
the.
make this happen.
I became.
Hey,
I was
More
born.
Ravens.
I was. I came here like it's Ravens.
It's Ravens.
I came-
Absolutely. See, when I was a kid, I didn't have a team.
Yeah.
Because the Colts rolled out.
Yep, in '84.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
born in '81. So, my dad, he wouldn't let me become a Steelers fan. He's like, nah. So I rolled with the Eagles.
Eagles is
I was a
Philadelphia?
Eagles. Until the Ravens came, and then but Philly's always.
I was a
that's
Raiders
my-
fan. I was a
yeah,
Raiders fan
it's
because
like
we didn't
had to
have
pick
a team. I was a Raiders fan until the Ravens, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much,
Just let you guys know, you're gonna have to educate us about
Yeah, I don't know nothing.
Serious, like the only thing I know that I'm Ravens, and I never been to a game. Have you guys been to the Ravens stadium?
I have season tickets.
Yeah, I've been quite a few times.
That's good.
I don't-
How's
I
it?
should go in
Hey,
a
what
game.
is the
I'm in
experience?
USA like
I
about
took
5
Rob.
years and I never been in a game.
Rob, I took Rob to a game last
Nice.
Yeah, he was like, I've never
That's
been.
cool.
I was like, oh, we're going.
Yeah.
And then it rained the whole time. We both had our. It was great.
What is
For
it?
sure a
like-
nice
Hey,
experience,
what is the
that's right.
experience
Yeah, I love
of football for you guys? Like, what is like what you like about it, and how the experience of the day going to like a
I mean,
game.
it's fun to go.
It's
I'm not a big fan anymore. I mean, it's not that I don't like it. It's just jiu-jitsu is
I was gonna
encompassed
say,
my
Take
life.
all my
Like,
time.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So if it's not a contact, some kind of hand-to-hand combat, whether boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, mixed martial arts, kickboxing, whatever, I pay little attention to it. I mean, it's not like I don't like the other sports. I don't have the.
You don't have time and enough time.
There's so much going on in the sports that relate to my
That's
life
right.
in general. I mean, there's always something to watch or pay attention to. Is every weekend with our sport in general.
events,
tournaments,
whatever.
Fights. So I just haven't been that big of a fan. I'm glad we have a good team and a good facility like the Ravens, and I support them, and the hometown team. I love them, but I don't have many chances to go watch them, and I'm not a diehard fan where I got to watch the games. If they're in the playoffs, I might watch the playoffs. I mean, I don't even watch the Super Bowl, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm all about jiu-jitsu.
We sell
martial
all of
arts.
all of our tickets. Like we get them and then we sell them because I don't go to any games. And like I said, like you said, when you found jiu-jitsu, it's almost like
that's
everything.
it.
It was like my religion. It's just like
It is.
slowly faded away. You know what I mean? And then it's just jiu-jitsu.
I barely have time to play the
The
drums.
only
Like I
reason
have drum set at
went
my
to
house
a
that I
game
used to
is
play
so
all
I
the
could take
time.
rock. You know what I mean? I was
Drums
rock
is-
never been-
Drums.
Nice.
Nice, that's
that
cool.
was
I always
Like-
thought it was
Rarely have time to play those.
Yeah.
Like,
it's cool.
Jiu-jitsu just
Drums,
encompasses-
drums like
I'm a guitar guy.
No, it's about
guitar.
rhythm.
I
rhythm.
always kind of wanted to play instruments.
Yeah.
Like,
Anything.
and because you can
In
impress
Brazil,
the girl,
hey.
you impress the
No,
girls
look,
with
if you
it.
wanna
In Brazil, if
impress
you
the
know
girl-
like violão, how to play violão.
Yeah, you take
And
the,
you get it.
Little
Get,
serenade.
get
yeah,
it-
like
you get it.
the girls are around, get somebody to sing.
I always said I learned how to play the guitar for girls, you know what I mean? And it worked because I had a kid when I was 15. So that
It worked pretty well.
It worked pretty well. But I was like,
Good
if
job.
I was smart. Yeah, like I should have learned how to play the piano because then I could have got them sophisticated girls. And the
that's right.
piano is where it's at. You know what I mean? Like if you can play the piano,
You go to different.
yeah, you
Got a different level, yeah.
Different level, you know what I mean?
That's
No,
cool.
that's,
But you can't walk around with a piano. You kind of walk around with something.
Yeah, that's a
Keyboard.
good thing to like.
Yeah.
Come to my house.
There you go.
You know.
We would have got.
Yeah.
We would have had fun.
And I saw some. Have you seen these drums? Like, not physical drums. Have you seen people playing those?
No.
Where like they hit the air and they play the
makes a
drum.
Air drums?
Like there's no.
Oh, like
Virtual.
Like a virtual.
Have you seen?
No, I
You gotta
haven't.
wear it.
Nothing.
That's pretty crazy.
I
I don't
never
know.
saw that.
Just
Just
like
sticks?
I think they put something like
Oh,
here.
okay.
They just
I can like a virtual.
All right.
and
These
the
words-
whole thing,
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Hey, they
It's
don't
crazy.
need a drum. It's insane.
Have you done the virtual reality thing yet?
For a game,
Yeah,
yeah.
I did.
But I want to do the Apple.
That was
Yeah, I wanna try.
Want to track your eyes?
Yes.
So I got a funny story about virtual reality. You want to get canceled now or?
Yeah, let's go. Go hard.
How many?
So-
we probably
yeah,
we
right.
are probably
Right,
already.
right. So, my grandparents, I was lucky. I had all my grandparents until 2 years ago, both sets, right? And that's, when you're close to 40, that doesn't happen a lot.
Is that look?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was awesome. So I got the virtual reality headset, and I'm sitting next to my grandfather. And grandmother's in the other room. I said, "Hey, Pop, check this out." I put on porn. Right? I'm talking 85 years old, right? 85 years old, right?
Jesus.
He's like, so he put these on, and Annie, that's what he always, because he's from West Virginia. So Annie, right? That's how he used to say my name, right? And I'll never forget. He's like, Annie, this is the best thing I think I've ever seen. I was like, my grandmother, her name was Mary. She's in the kitchen. She's like, Jim, what is it? And he's like, nothing. It's golf. We're looking at golf, right? And I tried to take them back from him.
Hey,
He's
like, no.
Hey, don't take these right now. I was like, let me know when the battery dies.
That's
And when I
funny.
went
That's
out,
funny.
Oh, dude, it was great. It was
That's
great.
fun.
I'm not just that him seeing that. Oh man, because it's pretty real.
But like imagine, like
Blew his mind.
Now I
the
gotta wonder what my kids
technology
are
for
doing
this
with that.
guy, man. How old are you?
I'm 41.
No.
They were 80,
80.
84, yeah.
Man, That
Yeah,
that technology is like
What?
he never
You know what I
imagined
mean?
it these
Like,
when
absolutely.
he was young.
He's
You
like,
know,
you know what I mean? Gravitating.
he like this.
I'm like, Pop.
Am I in the heaven already? What's going
Because
on?
it's like you look down and you see that, and then I'm like, well, look over to the right, and you like look over to the right, and there'll be other stuff going on. You look over here, and the other stuff. It's like, he's like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. You know?
That's
great,
that's when
man.
it's
Great.
crazy.
Oh man, rest his soul. I love him. Good stuff.
Hey, another topic. I don't know if you got. I just talked to some students. There's a new. They're talking about the UFOs today. Did you guys heard?
No.
I didn't know
Some
about
new
the
stuff?
new stuff.
Like
I like
they're
it.
like they're talking about like they
They found one.
no they have real they have the
Like a shit.
they have the ship.
What? I didn't hear about this. I'm all.
Like I'm not.
UFO,
Some
I'm
student
all-
told me they were
I'm
talking
all
about.
in. I'm all in.
So they have the ship, the ship.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
how it's
so
called.
they
Spaceship.
got-
Spaceship.
Yeah, UFO.
You know, like they were work. I think they had 5.
What? Oh, I got it.
Like you gotta look search
Reverse
search
engineering.
Now I know
search
what
it
I'm
right now,
doing.
so I don't say.
So if they had 5, they
That
were
means,
reverse engineering. I'm trying to figure
Oh,
out.
trying to
but
figure out
but no,
technology.
there's one that they get gravity around it that you can't even get it close because the gravity blocks you from.
Like a
It's like-
force field.
It's like a force field.
Yeah.
Look it up. Look
I'm
it
going
up.
to, my algorithm's gonna be all screwed up now. I'm gonna get all kinds of like alien stuff.
No,
coming
they're
up.
like,
Harbor.
hey, that's crazy. It's a,
Oh, you talking
if
That's crazy.
if it's true, it can be a technology that
Well,
That's
you
how I
would,
think.
some of the footage that I've seen and I've watched, I'm interested in different things like this.
If you look at the technology, how it jumps from the 80s to the 90s, it's almost like they had to find something.
Well, even before then,
You
I
know
mean,
what I
like
mean?
after the industrial age, like it took us so long to get to that, right? And then after that, the span has been so fast and faster with the technology. But I mean, you got to look at it. They do not. We don't, as the common public, we don't see everything that they already have.
Oh, no.
Like, I mean,
sure
in the
don't.
50s, they had
It was
the
scary
bomber,
so much.
right? The stealth bomber. Now, that would have been unheard of to see. And if you saw that in the 50s, you would probably think it was a UFO, you know? So
Yeah.
who's to say that what they do have right now or what is out there that people are seeing, that isn't something that we've created or we've already had, you know, from wherever we've gotten it. So, you know.
They hold the information, and yeah.
Well, yeah, they're not telling us everything.
Yeah.
We,
and then
Could you imagine how
next
people
and then
act?
next time we leave the office and then we're kidnapped.
yeah,
So
right,
what-
exactly. We ain't-
They
Joe
just
Rogan ain't coming
disappeared.
on now. That's for sure. You know what I mean? I'm looking for it. I see where they said they found fragments of alien technology, but I probably have to look.
Look at it. I think somebody was speaking about it today.
That's crazy.
Someone
I mean-
that worked at the.
I mean, why not believe it, right? I mean, how much?
And
they
even at the
assume?
Joe Rogan, there's a.
Oh, Bob Lazar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
did you
Bob
see?
Lazar.
Sorry, yeah.
Did
I've
you
watched
watch
some
the?
things
Yeah, I
with Bob
watched it.
Lazar?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, years ago he was talking about this this one element and
Element,
115 or one
Yeah, something
The
like
Area
that.
51?
No, it's
No,
an
it's an
element
element.
that he was talking about that we didn't have. We don't have that element, and then 15 years later we have that element.
Yeah.
And he was talking about that
Element
element.
115.
Yeah, element.
They kind of tried to
115.
put him like a crazy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Hey,
that's
you
what.
crazy.
This doesn't exist, and then sure enough, that's or 20 years later or something like that. We have
That
that.
come
So
out.
some of the things that
Oh, I think
Bob
they said-
Lazar
I'm
has
getting
talked
texts
about
saying
have
my
come
mic's
true.
off. Is my mic off?
I can hear you fine.
I can
hear
everybody.
you well.
Maybe they want your mic
Oh
off.
no, they say turn your mic up. Turn your mic on. I guess I'm like, hey, if you can hear me, whatever. If you can't, it is what it is.
Maybe you pulled it out because you jerk around a lot.
No. It could be. Let me check.
Try to speak on the mic. Try the mic.
Oh, yep. Check one. Hey. I mean, I can hear myself. I think. Hey.
No,
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 it's back.
you probably kicked something.
I didn't kick
You're forky.
Oh, you can hear me. All right, we good? All right, let me tell you people. You know, that must have been a white though.
No. I think you could. Your voice is coming from
Oh,
ours,
from all of
but
it.
I think it's on now because it has a little thing.
Yeah.
Hey, black belt,
Yeah,
technician.
Hey, black belt's expert and on make things happen. just figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
But,
M says she can hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right.
But hey, going
And
back
she
to the
told
subject.
you, hey, remember how Pop get excited? How excited Pop?
M is your.
I don't know.
She has your
Is it
last
Emmy?
name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my that's my ex-wife. Yeah. Yeah, we still get along. Thank God.
Does she train? Does she?
No. She's.
You have a grandson that trains, right?
Yeah, man. I coach my grandson.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I
You're
was
too
a-
young.
Yeah, no, I have 2 grandkids, man. I started.
I'm sorry, grandson.
Yeah, my
Grandson, right?
grandson trains, yeah, and my son. Yeah, both. So,
And both in the same class.
my grandson's 6 and my son's 10. So yeah, they do pretty much.
That's
And
awesome.
but my grandson is a tank. I mean, he looks like a 10-year-old. He's like
No,
80
your
pounds.
grandson is older than your son?
No. My grandson is 6,
Okay.
and then my son is 10. But they do. But my grandson is as
que desligou
tall,
aí.
is as big as my son.
Serious?
He's a monster.
Oh my God.
Monster. He's like 85 pounds. He looks like a little tank. And it's awesome.
Cool,
You know what I mean?
cool.
It's Yeah, that's what I say. It's so cool that we all can do it. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And I get to watch them progress, and I get to watch all the other little kids progress.
Yeah, that's one of the
That's
great
awesome.
things. Like my son and I trained together. He's trained since he was 4 years old. He does Mikey's class. He also does striking. But my girlfriend Holly, she trains. She's a purple belt. And I fortunately I teach one of her classes on Monday. So. Yeah, the whole family spends a lot of time at the gym together.
That's awesome.
Whether it's striking and then Fight Fit and yoga and everything else, whatever we can
That's
get
awesome,
in
man.
at the gym. So yeah, it's a whole
brings you
family
together,
event. Like every Monday and Wednesday, 3 out of 4 of us, and sometimes 4 of us. Sometimes Matthew comes along and he'll lift weights there. So the whole household is there, training,
On the same
doing
time,
something,
yeah. That's
So
cool.
And you kind of like, I feel like you kind of connect, right? Like when the family does things that they all enjoy,
extra something,
like
the
you
bond over
have
it.
like a better conversation.
Yeah, you
right?
bond deeper and you bond over something else. It's just another thing you have in common that you can go through together. And especially when I got my black belt, it was one of the best days. BJ gave me my black belt, and he also gave my son his yellow belt, and Holly at that time she got her blue belt. So all of us got
That's
promoted
awesome.
on the very
On the
same
same
day.
day.
And I have all those pictures. And
Like
that-
the family
yeah,
picture
Yeah,
and
that's
promote,
great. Like that's a
yeah.
memory that I'll always have, and that I'll always have those pictures of us all getting promoted together in jiu-jitsu. And so
That's
yeah.
magic, man.
Hey,
Beautiful.
one thing that you're talking about your girlfriend, right? So we're talking about this. Like we're gonna put some names to bring it to the podcast. Women, we want to grow jiu-jitsu, women's jiu-jitsu worldwide, right?
Yeah.
Well, like we see so many benefits of. You have a daughter. You have a daughter.
Oh, yeah. And
So-
granddaughter.
You're a granddaughter. Hey, there's this number. We always talk about this. 1 of every 4 women in the United States are going to be assaulted
Yeah.
or
Or
attempted
Or
assault,
something.
right?
Okay.
So it's a shame. We need to change those numbers.
Right.
And jiu-jitsu is the tool that we know and we can use to help.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we want to start. We want to start a new podcast for women to talk to women
Well,
in
Oh, that's
jiu-jitsu.
a great
You
idea.
know,
Yeah.
we're looking for a host. We're talking to some people already
Brains
to
and
bring
jiu-jitsu.
other
Yep.
women
Yeah,
to
I mean, yeah.
to get maybe women that never train jiu-jitsu to train jiu-jitsu.
jiu-jitsu.
The ones that
Yeah.
train that maybe learn
Yeah, 'cause
don't know about competition. Maybe they
Yeah,
can come
right.
and compete as well.
Yeah. Because
You know, they
some
can.
might be sketchy about, like scared. You know what I mean? And it's
It
like,
just-
if they have another woman telling them, like, hey, no.
Yeah.
Gives them self-awareness, self-esteem, and
self-confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
for
so
sure.
they're not always afraid, because that is when you walk around being afraid, you're presenting yourself as a victim, and attackers or
They look
criminals
at that.
look at
Yeah,
that and they pick up that. So if she's walking around with confidence, head up, fist clench,
Make a lot of
shoulders
difference.
back,
Yeah.
you're ready to take it on.
Yeah.
The guy might think twice about
Make a lot
doing
of
that.
And
And then
fight
if he
back
does
if you-
challenge, and if he does take that shot and she's got the tools to defend herself, then
Hey,
that's
sometimes
absolutely
you should
great.
get confidence enough to yell, to run.
Yeah.
'Cause most of that freezing.
Yeah.
They
Don't
get
know how
shocked.
to do. You get shocked.
They get frozen.
But like when you like
It's like a deer in
confidence
headlights.
enough, you go yell, you go run, you go figure out a way to
And
survive.
really, a lot of them don't even have the information or the tools to do any of that. Like you said, they freeze up because they don't know anything,
Yeah.
right? And they're scared and timid. So a little bit of training will go a long way,
Yeah.
Long
So I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I tell everybody sometimes it's just know how to skip it here.
Yeah, right.
You start from here.
Something, yeah. Just a
Something.
break,
Yeah.
Like, no, you come and do it. You, boom.
Run.
Yep, absolutely.
Run. You're already like
You don't have to learn how to beat someone. Just
No, no,
learn
no.
how to get out.
get out.
Yeah.
Learn how to
survive and get out.
push and run, you know.
Yeah. Technical stand up.
Yeah.
Get out. You know what I mean? You know?
Perfect.
And
Technically,
like-
stand up is a great example.
Yeah,
Sometimes
absolutely.
get ping, boom, boom, boom. You know how to
Yes.
back stand up,
Yep.
create
Get
the
out.
space,
Get
and
straight to space
route.
leave.
That's true.
Done.
Absolutely.
And I think we would have a better community with people. If the world trained jiu-jitsu, would have a better world, and
Yeah.
if women train jiu-jitsu, we have a safer world for women,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Absolutely.
So that's kind of how we really want to bring and push
Yeah.
the women, to the tournaments, to the podcasts,
Podcasts,
to train jiu-jitsu.
On the school and everything, and the jiu-jitsu on the class.
Like, think about every kid that trains with you guys, their mom training too.
Yeah.
Would be way more women jiu-jitsu. And
we have a
those,
few of those.
like, I have so many of the parents that trains, and not all of them, but encouraging them. Hey, and then they can tell their friends, hey, you should do jiu-jitsu too, because
Well, it's a great workout. But you're not going to, like the cardio, I burn 1,500 calories in,
The
an
class,
hour.
yeah.
It's,
Easy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And,
no, that's
yeah,
On the fundamentals class.
Hey,
the fundamentals class
So,
is cardio is
my
crazy.
two of my fundamentals. I teach 4 fundamentals class during the week, and the Mondays and Wednesdays in Pasadena, the swamp that we lovingly call it. That's filled with primarily people who've already graduated the fundamentals and blue belts, right? I have a lot of return people that come back because they just love the class and they like the warm up because it keeps them conditioned, and so that's
correct. I learned at the fundamentals class.
yeah.
When I teach it, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's
Oh,
why
yeah,
I can
like
be
me
better here.
teaching the kids, it's like
It keeps
it's
you sharp.
almost keeps you, it keeps it, you know what I mean? Keeps you going.
Yeah, it has to,
You know,
and really, if you want to be a good instructor, you'll stay on top of your your technique, and you'll know it by heart, and you'll be able to relay it to a way that everybody can understand it. Because there's a lot of people with different learning abilities or
Well, yeah.
disabilities, and so you have to be able to, in a room full of 30 people, reach everybody. And so you really have to be on key with how you teach your technique and breaking it down.
Make it easy to everyone.
Right, so they really understand it, and then explaining like why you're doing this and what the point is for this and what's going to happen. So they really kind of get a hold of it, not just like, hey, you do this and that, do that, and this is boom. You really kind of break down each step and relay it in such a way that everybody understands. Because a lot of people that are trained in the fundamentals that have never done any kind of martial arts, never wrestled,
Yep.
they're
I'd probably
this
say
is their
the
first
majority
sport.
of them really probably have
Yeah, I've got a guy right now, Chris. He just won Atlanta. He just won Orlando, and he's going on
Chris,
the Masters. He started as a white belt, right? Never out of shape. Never did a sport in his life. Not one. He was very computer oriented. I think he's an analyst or something. But he's always behind the computer. So he was out of shape and not physical. Like I said, no athleticism. The guy right now, he's rocking an 8-pack. Like I said, he just won 2 titles. He's on his way to the Masters.
Nice,
the change in like 2-3 years, and he's on his way. Eventually he'll get a purple belt. But
And I don't know, but I know probably I think on jiu-jitsu you're able to compete at a high level on any age.
Yeah.
You can be a world champion when you're 50.
yeah,
You go
kill.
fight in your division,
Yeah.
age group, weight group.
Yep.
Get there, train yourself, prepare yourself, compete.
One of my mentors, Gil,
And be a world champion.
Kai's dad, he won his first world champion at, I want to say it was 62 or something. But he had been there a few times and not getting in, just always real close, and then he finally got it, and that was great, great to see that.
But like, you can keep it pushing. You can keep pushing forever. Like you gotta go sometimes.
That's great
You don't
about
need
jiu-jitsu.
it. That's always like, man, you don't need to even compete if you don't wanna. But like if you wanna, man, bro, any age you're able to do.
There's a funny meme going around. It's a son sitting next to his dad, and the dad said, I won the world championships last year. And his son says, yeah, but you were a white belt. And he's like, and then the dad says, world champion, let that sink in. I'm like, that's awesome.
By the way, speaking of world championships,
or tournaments,
we're doing our first worlds at PBJJF.
October 14th.
October 14th, guys. Hey, make sure you register as soon as you can. You can save some money, and you can have more people see your name. And when you we see the divisions that people already put their name earlier, it gets bigger because other people are like, this person's there, I want to compete. They already see someone in their division. So make sure you put your name. And also, if you're in the Baltimore area, we have the Baltimore.
Laurel, right?
Yes, we'll be in Laurel.
Yeah, that's
this
my
event.
hometown. Well, I grew up in Savage, right next to Laurel, but North Laurel is my
You know
hometown. So I know
the place
area.
we're doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been there a few times, actually.
Nice.
Cool. So, I'll be there for that, the 26th.
That's great. Bring the
think
crew.
we've
And,
got-
you guys always come strong, I see.
Yeah, we've got a couple of guys.
Asai's coming back. Asai's coming back.
Yeah.
Nice. Acai and Jesus. I'm in.
So, Baltimore Summer Open, August 26th. Make sure you guys register now. Go there and
Get the
register
early
now.
registration,
Get
save some money.
The early registration
Put
is
your
going
name
now,
there.
but
And like it's,
get their regular registration so you don't
Yeah.
have to pay the late registration fee.
Yeah.
and every
The early
time
bird, right?
Yeah.
every time you sign up for a tournament, everything's changed. You go start to sleep early because you're like, man, gotta rest tomorrow. Go train hard. Got a tournament coming up.
That's it.
If you train like 2 times a week, maybe you go start to go 3. It's like, I have a tournament like in 5-6 weeks. I will push myself a little bit harder.
No milkshake today.
It's like no loss on prepare yourself for a tournament. I will put your name there early and you go get even better prepared.
That's true.
You know.
These tournaments are really premier. Like, I only have good things to say about these tournaments. Like you and I were talking earlier with the format that you have set up with the double elimination. Like I said, I teach a lot of new guys that are just getting in, and that's one of the biggest gripes that they have is, they pay this money and they get all ready, and they don't do so great in the first match and they lose, and then that's the only match they have. They don't have any other matches. So being able to have a second chance at it, like we were talking, some of the older guys, takes a match to get warmed up, So.
And the first sometimes the hardest.
Yeah,
The first one's hard.
Absolutely,
Always.
absolutely. Yeah.
After the first one, you're already like,
having the
let's go.
opportunity to get another shot at it, that's great, and I commend that. I think that's a great way to go with this tournament that you're doing. So this
It's
promotion.
awesome. The turnout is honestly, you can visibly see it getting more and more people, and it's always a great time.
And like we were talking before, we've got so many good schools and black belts around here, like in general, so it's great to have a premier organization that's close and having as many events as you're
and
having.
that you run right.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Hey, on Pan Ams, we got like couple good black belts brackets. I'm so excited to see Jeff fight with David Adams,
Monroe
like
was there.
Monroe's like, I'm like, Monroe, that's awesome.
Bomb.
Yeah.
And those guys are going to
We
be on the
get-
Hall
we
of
get like
Fame.
a-
like 10 years from now, we're going to go back to the champions from the first one, putting their name in the screen, hey, you guys going to be the best opportunity is now. Because, like
Get
10
in the
years
ground
from
floor.
now, if you look at the organization, they get the champions from 1996.
The breed
When
wake up
they
the
had
early-
like a very small group, So it's definitely and you guys are part of it, this is not, we talk about this is not mine or Max's, or this is from our community, We hope when one day we're not here, the federation will keep it going through the purpose,
That's the idea.
with with the same with the vision,
man.
a better vision, you know, the similar vision that we
Like
have.
I said, it's a
Constant
great program, and I commend you on it. I really see it expanding and nothing but good things coming. And like I said, I'm going to be pushing, especially the summer one, see if we can get some guys ready for the world one too.
Yeah.
But this one, being in my hometown, I'd like to see some of my guys get ready for it, for sure.
Cool.
It'll be
Thanks
great.
for the
It'll be great
support
to
always.
have you guys there.
Yeah.
And so, what do you guys have for the plan? What are you guys looking up for a future? You know, like
Well, for me, I've been, like I mentioned Chris before, I've been focused on my students and the guys that are competing, and he's the one that's pushing for this last big run at the Worlds, the Masters, and Vegas. So that's what we're getting ready for, and I'm going to travel out there with him.
You'll travel
Coach him.
that too?
Yeah, I'll go
Nice.
out there with him and coach him, and you know, it's just the big one for him. You know,
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is his first. He competed last year early on, but this year he's really started to put his game together, his jiu-jitsu game together, and it's starting to show. And
Make a lot of difference. Has a game plan.
I mean, this kid, like I
if
said,
if you just go there, I'm like, let's see, we're gonna have some. It's hard. You need to have like
I said,
plan.
he's put so much work and time into jiu-jitsu. Like he's fell in love with it. Like it's bit him. You know, I mean, he's in deep. He will eventually. I see him being a black belt, staying in it for the long run. You know, he's one of those guys that he's not going to go away. Like it's totally changed his life for the better, and he's living that world. Like I said, he went to Atlanta, Orlando.
Yeah.
He's constantly going and competing. So
I remember when I first signed up, Genaro said, he's like, two things are going to happen. One of two things.
Yep.
You're either going to fall in love with jiu-jitsu and it's going to consume your entire life,
Yep.
and everything that you do is going to be jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean, focused, or I won't see you next week.
or after the blue belt. That's a big problem.
yeah.
So the blue belt
I just got my
disappears
purple
sometimes.
last week, so I finally, I'm like,
Good,
I'm
yeah.
not looking
Congrats.
You commit.
forward to it.
Congrats. man.
now,
Congrats.
now
Now
you're
it's
done.
forever.
Now I'm done.
Now it's
Can't
forever.
quit.
I feel like I'm
Hey,
ready
if
for
you
the
go,
pressure.
you don't. He doesn't know. We have a secret group
Oh, really? Oh, man.
that if you move somewhere
You'll
else,
find me?
you're gonna call that person like, hey.
Well, that's what my ex-wife
Chase
says she's
him.
going to do now. Whenever we argue, she's like, you know, I'm going to find somebody from your school and pay them to beat you, right? I'm like, oh, man.
Is there jiu-jitsu clan?
Hitless,
Clan,
yeah.
jiu-jitsu
You
clan.
can't quit the purple belt.
Purple belt.
Anywhere you go, if you
Yeah,
move,
I'm not going
you
to
they gonna the two black belts are going to pick you up and
Bring
drag
to
you
the
to
gym.
You
put
couldn't
in
get
the
rid of this guy.
Oh, yeah, no,
Like,
put you in the van and
you couldn't get rid of him. He's never going to leave jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I
But-
love you guys, though. You know what I mean? So that's-
But like over
that's a big
purple
part.
belt is like it should be a crime if you
Yeah,
quick
if you
jiu-jitsu.
quit, right?
I mean, you
You're
did the
invested.
hard
I feel like
part.
the
Now,
door just
now it's
opened.
just like
That's where I started to like
Keep it
learn
calm.
jujitsu as purple belt. I started really to put things together. You know, I was like just grappling from white to blue. You know, and I was getting away with a lot of catch and wrestling type stuff. And purple belt is where I started opening up and playing an open guard, spider guard, lasso guard, and really playing jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? Really playing jiu-jitsu, and then it progressed from there. And I'm
Purple
here.
belt is my best belt.
That was my favorite
I like
belt.
my favorite
that was
belt.
that was my favorite belt
Purple is
too.
good.
Yeah.
Like,
Purple
Yeah,
is
it was
definitely
right there in
like
the
it.
middle,
Definitely when like I feel my jiu-jitsu progress
Yep.
a lot.
Yeah.
yeah, purple is a
I
good
feel
one
like my
to me too.
excuses are done now. You don't have any. You're a purple belt. So you don't have any excuses. You'll be here Wednesday, right? Shit, yeah.
Purple
No,
is
and
a-
definitely, but it's good. You know why? Man, you're a purple belt. Now you're on a level you go beat the blue belt. You understand?
Yeah.
But some brown belts, you go give them a hard time,
Yeah.
and like you don't have any responsibility
Yeah,
on the
right.
beat the black belts.
Yep.
And if you're
It's the
doing
perfect
well,
belt.
that's fine.
That's
you
good,
know,
that's
if
good,
he
that's
beat
good,
you
that's
up,
good, it's good to know.
whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like you only a purple belt. You
Yeah,
understand?
I appreciate it. Good stuff.
But
No.
you know jiu-jitsu enough
Yeah.
to like maybe do a sweep in one day, maybe pass his guard. The one thing I get a look submission, you know what I mean? But like
if I pass the guard, it's a win for me. Like I said, I won already.
yeah, like,
yes.
for
you
purple,
know?
definitely
Yeah.
the purple belt is perfect,
Perfect.
Yeah.
and like no obligations. Like I'm a purple belt.
It was the most comfortable belt.
Yeah.
I was
Right,
happy
okay,
at
good stuff,
purple.
good to know.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sweating.
That's
I got that brown belt. I was nervous. Like I was like, I gotta prove myself all over.
Now when the brown belt is hard.
And then you're only one step from black. So a lot
so
is
close.
Yeah, a lot is expected of you too. And again, and our family, led by Professor VJ. He always speaks about it's not just about what you do on the mats; it's what you do off the mats. If you in order to be a black belt, you got to carry yourself like a black belt, and there's a certain amount of respect that you have to show, and give, and a standard that you really have to hold yourself up to in order to get a black belt from him. And so that's a great thing.
My friends say it's hard. It's not.
and otherwise, you're gonna hurt the whole community.
Right.
You get a black belt doing stupid stuff, using the black belts. Like, man, you don't represent. You don't hurt us.
I don't want you.
Do you know what I mean? Like, But I tell my students, as soon as they put their gi on, they represent jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Well, that's
you
true.
better act properly outside. Otherwise, it's not about me or Gogi. It's about jiu-jitsu. You carry yourself, because they can be a doctor. They're gonna look. Oh, he's jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu fighter, right? The news people will be like, "No, he's a jiu-jitsu." No, he's a doctor. But what they gonna say?
Yep.
And then you heard because I saw Max a little bit 2 years. He remembers this back in Brazil. Some people really heard jiu-jitsu image, back in the 90s. The guys are just like learning jiu-jitsu,
go outside to fight,
go outside to beat up, people fight. It's like, no, those guys are just joined jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Those guys are not jiu-jitsu people, They're just brand new guys that came.
Their ego.
Like the Pitch Boys back in the day. They called that Pitch Boys.
They would have a pit bull,
I always like
steroids.
Fisher, like on the 90s, you have that picture with like a stronger guy and again a
With the
Pitch
white
Bull.
beater on.
Yeah.
I might have that picture.
But don't use jiu-jitsu image for that. You know what I mean? You can be crazy, but outside of the community, I think
you
we
don't
should
represent my jiu-jitsu,
because we and then my actions will rely on you now. When people see me and the way I carry myself, or I carry my off the mat, on the mat, whatever, when they see you, they're gonna remember JP. JP was that. I expect that person. Or if I'm a crazier guy doing some. It's like, no, it's not.
And I mean, and we've seen it at competitions before when you see some of these coaches going crazy and yelling, and it's like, whoa, dude. Like,
that's more in the kids,
honestly.
Honestly, and that's mostly dads, honestly. That's what I
I've
think.
seen some coaches go wild from like.
I mean, respectful
respectable
gyms,
you're not going to find that a respectful
coached against a lot of gyms around this area, and I've never had an issue with any of them. Everybody's always shaking each other's hands. Good match. The guy had, and it's vice versa. You just show the respect and you receive the respect, and typically that's what I see in a good jiu-jitsu
for community. Sure. And our we're work on this new things too. Like we're gonna, if somebody's being disrespectful, they get a
like a yellow card.
They get a verbal. Hey. Second one, you get kicked out.
Okay.
You don't want your kids around someone talking.
Have you ever heard of a parent?
Or fighting. Back in the day on the tournaments, man, every tournament has like minimum two or three fights on the coach, heifers, or teammates from the other. Like I'm a Carson Gracie, you Brazilian top team or Grace, porrada.
Not the environment that we
work hard to make this different. And now if you have like somebody try to be on that way, we like, man, please come down. Hey,
chill out.
If you do that again, unfortunately, gonna have to be off the
second
venue.
Out.
You gotta go. You know what I mean?
So it's not the.
But I haven't ran. Luckily, I've never seen a fight at any.
No, never. I'm glad you're not. And the US, I think, is a better. You can get in trouble here too with the law.
Better and better. It's better and not that better. Sometimes people is very disrespectful because they know like you're not gonna fight or whatever.
It's pretty soft.
Like especially on the traffic, man. Like bro.
It's like they feel protected because they're
on the car or whatever. People is very disrespectful, but.
Let it go.
I go to jiu-jitsu. I will put all my energy there. That's fine. Go away. But like,
I'm gonna be dead in 40 minutes. Anyway.
Seriously, that's something that jiu-jitsu has taught me over the years. Because, like I said in the beginning with my journey, I was a very angry person, and I didn't really control the anger too well, and I got into a lot of fights. I got into a lot of trouble. So, over the years with jiu-jitsu, it's put me in a mind state where I don't want to I have no interest in fighting anybody.
Conflict, right?
Yeah, no conflict at all. Like I don't.
And you don't need to
shits. I
prove
don't-
nothing to nobody, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
you know,
like
I
the
mean,
most
I say,
thing.
oh man, it makes you leave the ego at the door so
Right.
much. If you love and you're gonna embrace the sport, it does. You know, what I mean, it humbles you. So
Like,
bad.
and you know,
Yeah.
but most of the time, when like somebody flick the fingers to me or whatever, I look in the car. I hope I don't get canceled now. But like, man, most of the time it's like a guy. I'm like, bro, I don't need to even fight with you.
Yeah, you're like,
If I just wanna hold you,
yeah.
like.
I could
or
hold
like,
you and kiss you the whole time.
It's
you know
like,
what I mean?
A fat guy
Yeah.
or old or whatever.
It's-
I'm like,
it's so-
why
you know
you
what?
acting like
Yeah.
this if you can? Like,
Hey, I will tell you what I think
That's
about
that's
it.
that's why,
Most of the
because
time.
they don't have that discipline or
Well,
that
they-
self control
because
or
so
that
many-
skill. Because really, most people with that
Well,
kind of
yeah,
skill,
oh,
they
yeah.
have a discipline and
Like,
they don't
they're
care
not
of
fucking
themselves
with you anyway,
that way.
you know what I mean?
It's the people who are undisciplined, untrained, unskilled that want to be boisterous and
And
you know
they
all
have
that.
no idea what you know what I mean, what they're
Hey,
getting.
hey.
A lot of guys think they can do more than they actually can.
For sure.
You know
For
what I mean?
sure.
You know, for
Yeah.
you know, so it's
And hey, I the thing is, I think we come from generation that the baddest,
badass.
badasses
badass guy, right?
guys are the
Quiet.
nicest guys ever.
Look at Mikey Musameshi.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
I mean,
right?
he's the most
Someone
unassuming.
just
You walk
eats the
He will
around-
tear your
Like
head
a
off.
nerd guy,
Like,
with
yeah.
his glass.
Marcelo Garcia.
Yeah,
Oh, Marcelo, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The guy walk like
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, man, this guy can kick everybody.
Oh,
Like, butt to head.
Everybody,
You know, so you don't have to.
Don't
Prove
splay it,
nothing.
You know?
there's no-
Hey, and you know, and on the tournaments, when you walk on the warm up yard, you see the guy like skinny with the belt, like
You're like, oh, shit.
like with the glass. Like, okay, next match, you and this guy.
Like,
Like,
oh.
oh my god,
Oh.
this is gonna be a hard match, you know.
should've went
Every
to extra
time,
practice.
yeah, every time. If
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
see like a big guy
Yeah, yeah.
jumping around, most of the time, I'm like,
Yeah,
"Nah,
well,
okay,
right,
that's
right.
fine.
Yeah, but it's the little ones, the quiet
That's
guys.
true.
The core guys like getting
Maybe
good,
it's
yeah.
skipping comp class. Like,
The
oh,
unassuming
shit,
guy.
Yeah.
man. Yeah, that's good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
But you know, guys,
Man.
hey, it's okay. Good conversation.
Yeah.
Love to have you guys here. You know,
I appreciate it. I really greatly appreciate the opportunity to talk about jiu-jitsu and
Yeah,
wrestling.
when he told
you
me,
know.
I was like, what? Hell yeah. I'm like, I'm in. You
Yeah,
know,
when I
was
seen
like,
the you mentioned squad, I saw the thing squad. I was like, maybe I'm supposed to bring somebody. Maybe I'm supposed to bring the Swamp Monsters. Like, I was like, I don't know. And then I was second guessing, and he was talking to me, and I was like, hey, what are you doing tonight? You know, PBJF. He's like, PBJJF.
I'm like,
I'm doing a
JP?
podcast. He's
Max?
like,
I'm
what?
like, yeah,
Podcast? And I was like, yeah, JP and Max. He was like, seriously? Yeah, I'll come. I was like, yeah.
cool,
Sure.
man. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you guys for coming. It's a
Yeah,
pleasure to
I'm
have
really
you.
happy to know more about you guys
yeah.
too. You know, that's awesome.
And those are like things that sometimes people that are around us won't even know, right? Like
Yeah.
stories behind, like when you have a 15-year-old, you had a
Yeah.
you had a kid,
right,
you know,
right. Yeah, yeah.
or like
Don't let it scare you,
stories,
ladies.
three stories, you know, like behind.
Yeah.
So as a professor, sometimes people don't know our story behind the mat, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then there's a great opportunity. We really thought about giving the spotlight for the professors, instructors, to share their journey. So people that want to know about your journey more, they will usually your students probably go on YouTube,
Yeah.
search, you know, they're gonna find it, and they're gonna watch the podcast.
And you see a lot of students like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
over here.
Yeah, a
they
lot of,
comment. Yeah,
Awesome, awesome.
it's awesome.
and
I hope a
you
lot
know,
of them are my students because they should be watching.
Yeah.
I hope they are. And if they are your students, they're gonna be watching more people from Conclass coming here, and just make sure, guys, become a member, support your
Yeah,
channel.
yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
we love. Hey, this is it's not about the money,
No,
but it's about like, hey, people like what we're doing. Hey, we
Yeah.
gotta keep doing.
And then
You know,
it's
like
start the
when
word
they
out, you know?
because when they put some financial investment into like, hey, I'm a member.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, we like.
Yes, we're
It's
so
not about
happy.
me.
And
The money
last
is-
podcast, he's on my side here now, and he talk about like the member or whatever, and I give he like $2. You know, you can give like a stick or whatever, and I'm like, give it $2. I love you, and he like, yeah, we gotta. I'm like,
Hey, man.
ah, fuck it.
But it matters too. Thank you for your support. Man. But like people subscribing to the channel and Subscribe is the most
Yeah,
for free, guys.
the easy way to support us now. Subscribe to
Subscribe.
the channel. Please leave
Hit
a
the
like.
Hit the
We don't get so much likes, and like you get to one point here, like
30 people.
30 people watching, well, hit the like.
Hit the
That's
like.
help us
that
to
like
like
button.
connect with more people, like the platform.
They share more.
You
the
share
content,
more,
yeah. They hold
Yeah.
the content.
Yeah.
So, but and like I said, you can become a member. You can support the channel by becoming a member. It really motivates us to keep doing what we're
And
doing.
didn't you mention, not to cut you off, you said you're going to select 2 members to come up and,
Yes.
and do a podcast?
We're gonna
I mean,
select
that's
2.
well worth it anyways, to become a member and get a chance to do this podcast. With
And
amazing
also you go
podcast.
get that nice
Yeah.
mug.
We get to go
That's
home
yours,
with
no?
these.
You guys know that,
That's
yeah?
yours, yeah.
Appreciate that.
And
Special mug
You
for
guys,
special
you guys
people.
get the first season.
Oh,
Soon we
nice.
go change for the next season.
The first lady.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that means you guys need to come back here and start collect that.
And
You know what I mean?
post, take a picture when you
goes,
can.
yeah, absolutely.
Tag us.
Yeah.
We'll definitely share.
Like in 2-3 years, like, oh my God, I got a 10 mugs. I don't drink that much coffee,
And one day when you go to Joe Rogan's, like, man, I was just there with the guys.
Yeah.
See my
Hey,
cup?
Rollo was just on. John Rollo.
John Rollo was there.
Yeah,
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 no,
that's
that was awesome. Good.
We start get that connect. Joe Rollo will come here and one day too. We just need to figure out the date,
I can
He
imagine.
would be
That's probably
great.
the hardest thing
Yeah.
of all of this, just to schedule.
It's schedule. It's like, man, look what time we start, 9
Yeah,
p.m.
yeah. I'm
Nah,
good.
Yeah,
for
when I
real, like
told-
we start like 9:20.
When I told my girlfriend that I was going to do this podcast, she was like, "At 9 o'clock at
Yeah,
night,
he's lying.
where?"
And they're like,
Nah.
Like, yeah, no, yeah,
It's live here. It's live. Go there. I can prove.
That was the first thing. She was like, "At 9 at night,
Yeah.
where?"
Good excuse. What a
No,
good
man, you
excuse.
we work all day, man. Like on a school,
Oh, yeah,
like
I'm
even if it's
sure.
hard.
Yeah.
Like I told him, like, bro, for it's like the best time is on night time.
Yeah.
And I'm a night guy because I finish it like 8:39,
And I'm
and
like
I
amped
still
up a little bit.
like.
You got to unwind and
Yeah.
do your
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, you've been busy working all day. Now you have time for yourself.
It's like my time sometimes
Yep.
to sit on the couch with my wife, share my day with her. I'm always like, I don't for a couple hours.
And the audience, it's the time where
it's
people
good.
are leaving their schools, so they get home, they can watch. As
No, my
well,
students told me like,
That's
hey,
true.
I drive home, listen you guys.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
good.
fuck, that's
Yeah,
nice.
that's-
That is awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you guys so much for coming
Anytime.
I appreciate it.
here. Appreciate. Thank you guys so much.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for the support. Don't forget to become a member.
Yes, like,
Don't forget to
like,
share the link.
subscribe.
Yes.
Share this podcast with
like,
everyone.
subscribe.
Soon you're gonna see the cuts, the clips
On
reels
Instagram.
on Instagram
Okay,
and
okay,
social
yeah.
media.
Yep.
Excellent.
So we're gonna tag you guys both,
Great.
Oh, absolutely.
Appreciate that.
and we'll see you guys soon.
Ossa.
More
Good work.
summer.
Bye-bye.
Oos.
Thank you all.
Thank you guys so much.
Really appreciate it.
The funnest shit ever.
That was
nice.
that's my first podcast, and